Looking for clarity and confidence when it comes to decision making for your business? You've come to the right place. You're now listening to the Atomic Business Coaching Podcast.
All right, Adam. So what's going on, man?
Awesome day. Had one of our clients from out of state fly in, saw them, spent the day with them, had lunch. It was old friend, long-time friend, and a good client. So it was nice to do that.
Yeah, it was really great to see him and to see how amazing he is doing and how much he's done in 1 year. I mean, it is astounding. Crazy. He's relocated. He's lost like 50, 60 pounds. The guy is, and not only that, his business is out of control. I mean, he is just doing so well. And, you know, it's such a wonderful moment when we get to see how our clients do and the successes, and when everything starts to move in that direction of success and getting back to what they really wanted to do. It's awesome to see it. And, you know, I'm so grateful to be part of people's journeys when it comes to that. You know, it's such a great experience. And, you know, that's what we're going to talk about today, being grateful and talking about gratitude. You know, this week is Thanksgiving, and it's November, and it's a great time to express gratitude and really live in that state of thankfulness and gratitude. And, you know, one of the things I've been doing is I've been working with a group that I do a Monday morning mindset with, and I picked gratitude for this week's theme. But, you know, people don't always understand the benefits of gratitude and how it impacts the workplace and how it impacts your business and how it makes the whole environment better. So that's part of what we're going to talk about today. So Adam, you know, you and I wrote in the morning meeting in our book, we start out the day with gratitude. What was the reason why we picked gratitude as that starting point in our day?
Well, I mean, first it was more you enlightened me on the importance of gratitude, not just in the moment when you're grateful for it, but having a repetition of gratitude. So It was mainly because of you, Tom.
Really? Well, you know, we adapted both your morning routine, my morning routine, and gratitude is such an important part of that. And gratitude means a lot of things to a lot of people. But one of the things that I love that it does for people is it causes this instant shift in mindset. Gratitude is a very positive emotion, and it really allows us to be very, you know, to change our mindset instantly, to go from a place of negativity to a place of positivity and acceptance of new things around us, and coming to a place of, wow, the world is really working for us here. And, you know, gratitude is one of those things that there's a lot of neurochemistry involved in that emotion of gratitude. You know, we were reading through an article from Positive Psychology, and it was a great article on this, the neuroscience of gratitude. And they talk about how gratitude is that natural antidepressant. It's one of those things that you should take, because when you express gratitude, it actually causes a release of dopamine and serotonin. And, you know, for people who suffer with depression, oftentimes that serotonin is depleted in the synapses of the brain. But it's really, you know, it gives you that burst of serotonin, that burst of dopamine, that pleasure stuff that really makes you feel good about the situation. And gratitude works two ways, which is great. It works two ways in that when you are expressing thankfulness or appreciation for someone and you're giving it to them face to face, and then they give you something back or they tell you how great that made them feel, you both have a dopamine and a serotonin surge. You both have that release of those positive neurochemicals that bring on this feeling of happiness. And gratitude is directly linked to happiness. You know, you walk around and there's actual scientific proof that you can actually change the brain and its neural pathways around gratitude. So since you've adapted this practice of gratitude, Adam, and really pushing like what we talked about at the beginning of the episode, you know, how do you feel when you express gratitude?
I mean, so when I'm practicing it regularly, or even if it's just in a moment of something, I feel that it allows me to compartmentalize certain feelings, address them, and then move forward with the next thing in a different way, right? So when I'm consciously saying I'm going to think about or write down what I am grateful for, then it really makes me, it kind of fosters innovation inside of my own brain to really start thinking of like, what have I done, or what have people done for me, or what do I have, or what do I get to do every morning, or what are these things? And then it compartmentalizes them, and I'm put them in this box. I say I'm grateful for them, whether it's to the actual person or just out loud or on paper. And then because I was thinking of that, it usually gives me this positive energy that because I'm so appreciative of these things, it starts sparking new ideas for me. Mm-hmm. And that's why I found it's really good in the morning. You know, between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. is when I am like just on fire. It's crazy how much I come up with. So since I've started doing this in the morning, I think it's enhanced the way that I use that thought process and innovation that comes from gratitude.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, the innovation that comes out of it, because your mind is open. It opens up your mind to new ideas, new possibilities, because you're not stuck in this negative kind of closed off space. You really exist in gratitude in a very present state of mind, right? That's one of the big things is it really helps you to become more present when you're thinking about what you're grateful for and what what has been such a blessing for you. You know, when you're thinking about that, it changes your whole perspective on things, and new ideas can flow in and new opportunities flow in. And it really, the thing that I want to just draw as part of this conversation is attention to how gratitude helps us to set better intentions, right? When we're expressing gratitude, I often tell people to ask themselves, why does that make you grateful? Why is that making you feel grateful? And to understand why, right? So like I gave the example this morning in this mindset group that I run is I'm very grateful for my wife because she helps me to take care of the kids, to get things done so that I don't have to focus on those things because she's focused on those things. And it allows me to focus on other things for my kids that I may need to do for them. And it really becomes a nice team effort and a real shared partnership. But I'm grateful to her because of how much she helps me to focus my priorities in a very different direction. So it's in gratitude that focus happens, that those priorities become more clear on what are really the important things to attack and to make sure that you get done. But, you know, I want to move into, you know, how it really benefits us in our teams as business owners to practice gratitude. And that's going to be the topic of the masterclass is how do you build an effective team through gratitude? And there's so many benefits that people don't even realize. So let's start with some of the benefits with you as the owner of your business, right? As the owner of your business, when you are expressing more gratitude, you become more aware. You know, we talked about this in conscious leadership a couple of weeks ago and how the levels of consciousness and the levels of awareness shift when you are, you know, when you're more aware, you can pay more attention to things going on in your business and what's going on in the environment around you. But gratitude is actually a catalyst to being more aware and being wider awake. And it really is something that, again, brings in that innovation. It ties back to that, but it also enhances your mood as an owner. I mean, how many people do we work with? And when they first start working with us, they're all cranky and moody. And by the time that they're done with us or they're moving into our retainer program, they're feeling differently and they're having a different emotion. And we've included gratitude in that. But what do you think it is, Adam, that causes that shift in mood for a lot of our clients from that state of frustration to this state of satisfaction and happiness?
I mean, you know, when you're practicing gratitude, it helps you to be more grounded. Mm-hmm. So, and when you're more grounded, you're kind of more clear-headed, right? And when you're clear-headed, you can improve your decision making. And when you improve your decision making, that leads to more profitable outcomes, right? And that's why you're in business in general. So, I mean, I think that's the major reason why.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. The improved decision making from that clarity that does come because of gratitude. Gratitude is involved in that. And that's what we really try to get people to do as owners is become more clear on what they need to do and focus on the important decisions. But, you know, there's also, continue on the owner. There's so many physical benefits. So what are some of the physical benefits that we read about in this article that would really enhance your physical habitus?
I don't remember reading through the article that detailed, so shame on me. But one of the things that comes out of this physically actually is what most people attribute to a mental thing, which is reduced stress.
Mm-hmm.
right? Stress affects you in every single way, both mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And really, when you have this gratitude, it helps you to manage your stress better because you're starting to be grateful for things. So the things that are pissing you off or, stressing you out, you're really not focusing on them as much anymore, at least in that moment. And then you can maintain a healthier balance or harmony of the negative and the positive. So reducing your stress, I think, is a key to all of this.
Absolutely. And that's what I was really going for. So you answered it perfecally, my friend. I mean, it's the stress. And
I didn't read the article I just scanned through it though, pal.
But it's, you see, people, we're honest here. And that's one of the things, we're always transparent with each other. But you hit the nail on the head. Like, stress does a lot to hurt your body. There's a lot of good stress and there's a lot of bad stress. The good stress is that you stress, and that comes from good emotions, happiness, and practicing gratitude. But the bad stress has such a toll on your immune system, and it causes you to get all out of whack. And it really is stress is one of the things that really causes a lot of people to get sick more frequently, because you weaken your immune system when you don't, when you're stressed all the time, and your body responds to stress in these ways. And we've mentioned before on previous podcasts, that when I used to get stressed, my diverticulitis used to flare up, and that was a direct result of my stress response and my immune system and my body working in overtime and not doing those things. And ever since I started a daily practice of gratitude, I have noticed such a healthier body and a healthier mind around a lot of things that I didn't previous experience, right? It wasn't something that was normal to me. So I've seen this in my life, and I encourage everybody to do this, to start with a practice of gratitude. But let's talk about how it really can enhance your team and your communication with your team, because one of the big benefits is communication. Because if we see more clearly, we think more clearly, we make more decisive decisions, we can actually communicate those things better with our team. And there was a bunch of different things that socially that are beneficial to practicing gratitude. And it's you also, as a leader and the owner of your business, you become more empathic. And, emotional intelligence, empathy is one of those important things for a really important leader. So, Adam, what is empathy? What is really true empathy in this situation?
I mean, the way I always simplify empathy is it's trying to not be compassionate, not feel like, oh, I feel it, like to really put yourself in someone's shoes, right? To really say, I'm going to, for a moment, try to sit where you sit and understand where you're coming from and why you feel these ways. That's the way I look at it.
No, that's exactly it. But see, not many people understand that. They think it's sympathy. They confuse it sometimes with feeling bad for someone or whatever. It's really just putting yourself in your shoes, somebody else's shoes, and how they would feel about it. But when you're practicing gratitude, you could do that in a much more positive and less, it's not as strenuous to be empathetic. It's more natural, because you're in that state of gratitude and you have such a more positive mindset around it. You could actually try to understand and understand the situation that people are going through. But you see, one of the things that I think is really important is how gratitude also enhances your interpersonal relationships. It changes the dynamic of your relationships. It really changes when you're struggling, especially, we work with a lot of couples that are co-business owners, and we see the stress and the tension when things are not going well in their business and they're working with us to make it better. But one of the practices that I encourage people to do, especially for couples that are business owners, is before you go to bed at night, tell each other 3 things that you're grateful for about the other person. Because, gratitude has been known to improve sleep. Because your whole hypothalamus and your whole regulation of your body is really controlled by the hypothalamus and that little part of your brain. And there's that little part of your brain that's controlling a lot of stuff. But one of the things that it regulates better is sleep when you are practicing gratitude, because the neurotransmitters are flowing through the right way and you actually sleep better and you get a more restful sleep and you wake up with more energy in the morning than when you're not expressing gratitude. That's one of the things, like I always tell people, gratitude in the morning, gratitude at night, because I rather wake up in gratitude and fall asleep in gratitude, because then I know I'm going to have a really productive day. So Adam, what are have you ever had anybody in any of the teams you've ever worked on or ever bring gratitude to the forefront like this?
Yeah, no, I actually have an amazing gentleman. He's been a mentor. He's a general agent of my other firm, Frank, and he brings gratitude into the entire agency and the entire firm to the point of he'll kill me if he hears this because I'm going to mess it up. But he has this saying called 3-4-5, and everybody goes around 3-4-5, and it's like, I love you, I care about you, and I am proud of you. Yeah. So it's 3 words, 4 words, 5 words. And we even have it plastered all over the office, and people will go back and forth and say that to each other. Just say, hey, 3-4-5, man. Wow. And it's an environment because he treats the firm like a family. And he just wants everyone to know how grateful he is because without all of us, he couldn't have success. And with us not having him, we couldn't have success. And it's this constant culture of gratitude inside of the firm. And it carries throughout in good times and bad times. And, it makes it more like a family as opposed to a workplace.
And isn't he much more likable because of that? Right?
Well, more likable, more approachable, so it strengthens our relationship with him and his relationship with us. So yeah, because many benefits from it.
Because when he talks to you, and I know you've had some difficult conversations with him, and he always seems very open to receiving what you have to say and is very empathetic towards you and tries to really understand what's happening. And I think that's such a big part but you can tell in his expression of gratitude that it changes the whole dynamic of the relationship. And that's what I want a lot of our owners, business owners, to get out of this podcast and the masterclass. It's really, that you can change the whole dynamic of the culture that you're working in with one little thing. Just saying thank you to people, showing your appreciation. Gratitude is often expressed as thankfulness, and that's all we have to do is to say thankful. So one of the things that I encourage everybody to do on a regular basis is send a thank you note to somebody on your team. Like if you have team members, make it a 5-day challenge for yourself, or make it a 10-day challenge to thank everybody on your team. If you have hold on,
I want to interrupt that for a second, because here's the thing. I like challenges and I like ways to get started and all these things. But I think if you're going to do something like this, if you're listening to this right now, whether you're in your car, you're at work, getting ready for bed, whatever it is, Tom and I bring up these great challenges to get you started. But this is one of them, Tom, I do not think should be a challenge. Okay. Being grateful and saying thank you to people needs to be ingrained in part of who you are, right? This is something you need to carry on forever. So can we reframe what you were about to say and put it in the context of like, this is something you need to adopt and have forever? Yeah.
So make it part of your daily habit. Create a habit.
Well, it's a habit. I don't even mean a habit. What I mean is you got to be a human being here, right?
Absolutely.
You have to be thankful. It can't always be about you. It can't always be about your accomplishments and everything else. And typically gratitude are the things you have, the things you receive, the things you've gotten, the opportunities you are put in front of you, whether they're negative or positive.
Right.
Okay. But being thankful for that and expressing that out loud or in writing, that needs to become a part of being a human being. I mean, we are missing that in so many ways.
Yep.
In business, in life, in family. It's like, come on, people. If you're listening to this, start thanking people more. Like, come on.
Exactly. I 100% agree. And I'm glad you challenged me on that, because you're making me think about our client who just hired this younger person, right? And one of the tests that he has been doing is to see if this guy has manners. And he brought him lunch and he said, thank you. And he was out with another colleague, and the colleague wound up buying them lunch, and he said, thank you to that person. And our client said to his colleague, see, he says, thank you. He goes, yeah, that's impressive. The fact that saying thank you is impressive is, excuse my French, it's fucking sad. It's sad that we have come to a place of not appreciating people and not thanking people for what they do for us.
And I think that's why I got so passionate about that for a moment. Because,
no, good. I love it.
I was taught a certain way, and I feel very blessed that I'm raising my children in a certain way to think about these things. But I feel it too often where everybody's self-centered that I'm dealing with lately. And it's like they're trying to get through their motions and move on. And take a beat and look where you are. Look
Right.
what you get to do. Look what's happening. Like, can you be thankful for this? Even if it's not being thankful for me being in this situation with you, but can't you be thankful you're in this situation? And can't you say that out loud?
You know, the fact that we even have to talk about it means there's a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking about it for a while, and, you know, it's not, you know, even now driving my kids around right now, I'm like Duber, Daddy Uber. You know, remember Saturday Night Live, MacGruber? I'm Duber.
My God. I'll tell you what, there's somebody out there that needs to start like an Instagram or a YouTube channel, Duber. How funny would that be?
We should do that.
Not us, but someone out there. If you're listening to this and you're a dad that became the Uber for all the teams and everything, that would be fun.
But
anyway,
I'm driving around all these but pick up my daughter, and whenever I pick up my daughter, I always anticipate there's going to be 3 or 4 girls that are coming along with my daughter to get in the car. And you know, the sad thing is only 1 or 2 of the 4 will say thank you when I drop them off. And some are so appreciative and some don't do anything. And I go, what goes on in that person's home?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening in that home that you don't say thank you? Like, I taught my kids just like you taught your kids. We want our kids to be very polite, very good people, and say thank you all the time. And my kids do it, and I hear it, and I don't have to say it anymore. Don't forget to say thank you. They know to do that. But it's something that we have lost in our society. We've lost it. And as we see people be business owners, but you have to I also think there's a part of this too. You know, as a business owner, you're so caught up on getting things done sometimes that if you don't get in the habit and I call it a habit, and just say thank you. Like, make that a regular practice as part of your day, is to say thank you to your team. Don't get caught up in and I've done it too. You know, I'll text Laura, our operations coordinator. I'll text her and be like, hey, can you take care of this? And I'll forget to say good morning sometimes. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Good morning, Laura. Let me restart. And even those just common courtesy, because we just get caught up in what we got to get done. We forget those things. And because we only have a 3-second attention span these days, it's really hard for us to not jump into right away. But if you do make it a regular practice of saying thank you, if you make it a regular routine of expressing gratitude, and that's what's going to change all of this, is that taking on that regular expression of gratitude. So, you know, Adam, on that note, I think that kind of wraps this up. I love how we got punchy at the end. It was great because I love it. I love it when we get to disagree but I found you there, and it's the passion that you bring to this. And I love it, man. And I'm grateful for you. So let me wrap up this episode by saying how grateful I am that you are my partner, that we have been doing this, that we're going to kick ass in 2024. We're kicking ass now, but we're going to really kick ass in 24. And I'm grateful for all the experiences that we have, good and bad, struggle and not struggle. I'm grateful for all of it because it has made me a better person this year. So in this spirit of this week, awesome, thank you, man.
And thank you. You know, thank you for allowing me to be me, because I think for the first time in my life in a partnership in the business realm, you've kind of just let me be me. So I'm very thankful, because I think I've grown in leaps and bounds because I've gotten to be me and see more of the flaws. Mm-hmm. And through a lot of your guidance and the intelligence and the wisdom you've passed on to me, I'm extremely grateful for this too. So
awesome.
On that note, don't forget that I'm Adam and I work on the business.
And I'm Tom and I work on the owner.
And together we are Atomic Business Coaching.
And we're in the business of helping owners.